Okay. Hello and welcome to the short video regarding assignment 1 for research and evaluate construction materials and methods for building design projects. Hopefully at this stage you're all familiar with the mood page and what is contained therein. Our first protocol for getting to understand assignment 1 is under the heading Let's Get Started. In Let's Get Started, it gives a brief outline of what the subject will include and, of course, 3 projects you're required to complete. So it says here you are required to research and evaluate construction materials for 3 specific projects. These projects will be used with several units of competency during this qualification. The projects are a residential dwelling, Class 1, a 2-storey commercial development that includes sole occupancy units, Class 2, and a 3-storey commercial showroom and office, Class 5. The assignment that we're concerned with today is the residential dwelling, Class 1. So, to follow on from that, for each project you must produce research findings with recommendations and supporting evidence for each of the above buildings based on an evaluation of features and applications of a range of at least 3 materials suitable for structural elements and building envelope for each building project. Different construction methods and systems applicable to structural elements and building envelope for each building project. Systems and components of services having considered relevant compliance requirements for each building project, and installation methods for each building project. Following on from that, where we get the specifics of the first assignment is in residential dwelling. The most important document contained in residential dwelling to describe the assignment is this document here, Assignment 1 and Program for Semester 2, 2017. The following document provides a little bit more information about the dwelling as it currently is, however, is not important for the completion of the assignment. This document provides a little more, or gives the reader a few more ideas as to where they can go with potential materials, etc. And if you feel compelled, by all means read it. However, the principal document is this one, Assignment 1 and Program Semester 2, and you should find everything you really need to complete the assignment in there. Following on from that is a PDF of Task 1 house drawings. If you also wish to use the Revit model, either to help produce models or diagrams for your assignment, or just because you prefer to view the plans within Revit, you have the Revit model here. However, for those who do not have Revit at home or at a computer they can easily access, the drawings have been contained here as a PDF form. Following on from that is a PDF document explaining the relevant parts of the BCA, or the BCA as is relevant to the assignment. I encourage you to look at the entirety of the document. However, of particular note, as put down here, is review Part 3 of the BCA for guidance in construction and reference to the relevant Australian standards. In that Part 3, it sets out the interaction between BCA and the Australian standards. For all of you who are not yet familiar in accessing the Australian standards, these can be accessed through the TAFE library, and I'll go into that, or I'll show you through that in a short while. And the BCA is free for all members of the public to view. All we have to do is create a login for that. So search for BCA or National Construction Code and create your own login and have access to that. Finally, there is a guide here on how to reference. It is important that, but firstly, you do refer to sources of information, and you do make quotations and use images such as details, etc., within your report. However, if you do so, you must reference those correctly. So contained in here is the guide on how to reference. First up, we'll get into assignment 1 and program semester 2. So contained herein is the program for semester 2, outlining what is covered on a weekly basis. Each session comprises 1 week in the term, and you'll see here that task 1 is due session 7. The due date for that is Friday of week 7, which is Friday the 15th of September at 5 p.m. So close of business Friday the 15th of September. You should have received a notification of this via email, and for those of you interested, assignment 2 is due on October the 20th at 5 p.m. and assignment 3 is due on November 20th at 5 p.m. And they are shown here subsequently in the semester guide. So task 2 due session 10 directly after the mid-semester break, and task 3 due in the final week. It's due on Monday of the final week. The reason for this is so if there are any issues with assignments, I have time to get back to you and you have the opportunity to correct any of those issues before the close of the market. Following on from the semester guide, we have the information for assignment 1. So here it is listed as task 1. For this task, you are required to provide a report comparing and evaluating structural options, cladding options, and service options for a residential dwelling. The proposed building design is on the learn site, so learn. The current design is of a transportable timber frame building with timber cladding. The client would like to reconsider the design as a permanent structure. You're asked below to include, where pertinent, manufacturer's details for installation of your chosen options. So put simply, we are to take the building as shown in the drawings and reimagine that building as a permanent structure and list the structural options, cladding options and service options for that building as a permanent structure. These options are of your own choosing. However, also be aware that assignment 2 and assignment 3 follow a very similar structure, and you're asked the structural options and cladding options within those as well. So if there are some materials and methods you would prefer to use in a commercial sense as opposed to residential, I suggest saving those for your commercial reports. You must include a reference list of all websites, manufacturers' guides, and other sources of information at the end of the project. So please keep track of where you have sourced your information from. Now, this is to be submitted as a report, and the fundamental aspects of a report are that it is clear and concise and laid out with headings and subheadings. As a guide, this information on assignment 1 can broadly be seen as a good guide for how to lay out the report. So first of all, we have our heading of structure, followed by subheadings of roof, walls and floor. Within each of these subheadings, you are asked to research and evaluate residential structural systems for the roof, the walls and the floor. For each system, consider the following: aesthetic properties, maintenance requirements, fire resistance properties, coatings required, fixings required, compatibility/interaction with other elements, health and safety issues, durability and compliance requirements. This is where the Australian standards and the NCC, the National Construction Code, come into play, and it's where they should be referenced. So if I were to complete this report, I would start off with having the heading of structural elements, and then I would go into a subheading of roof, and I would create subheadings of aesthetic properties, maintenance requirements, fire resistance, etc. for my chosen materials, and list them under that. Following on from structure, we have cladding. So research and evaluate 2 different wall cladding systems: fibre cement sheeting, aerated concrete, timber board products, brick or masonry, or other. If you do choose to look at other materials, and I encourage you by all means to do that, please shoot me a quick email to confirm that it's fine to research or to include those materials in your report. I imagine that I'm not going to have an issue with that at all, but shoot me a quick email in regards to that. So, also research and evaluate 2 different roof cladding systems. So we've got wall cladding systems and then roof cladding systems. And then once again, as with the structure, we have some prompts here on what we can do or what path we can follow for our research on our wall cladding systems and our roof cladding systems. So for each wall or roof cladding system, consider the following: advantages and disadvantages of each cladding option, limitations, size or application, environmental impacts, thermal properties, and compliance requirements. So that should give you a very good idea of how to set out your report, and then where to go from there in regards to research and commentary on your chosen materials and methods. Finally, in the report, it asks for you to touch on services. Now, the nominated service we have given for this assignment is a hot water service. So it's looking into comparing hot water services, and I'll go into that a little bit further as to where we can find this information. But compare the advantages and disadvantages of different hot water services. Make a recommendation to your client based on your research. And that's it. That is the outline of the assignment, and it should be fairly clear from that as to what to include. But we'll just quickly go into the final component of the hot water service. So this component. So information on the hot water service can be found further down. So this is back underneath the residential dwelling tab in Moodle. So right down the bottom we have information on hot water services, so hot water systems, and hyperlink here to research different types of hot water systems. And then finally, this hyperlink here, hot water savings. So this link will direct you to the Ausgrid hot water calculator. Use the calculator to compare the running costs of different hot water services. Calculate the annual cost for a household of 4 people who each shower once a day for 10 minutes using a standard shower head. They don't use the bath and use warm water for the washing machine side. So the existing unit is an electric storage installed before 1999, and the electricity tariff is continuous. Compare the energy use and costs of running this system with at least three of the other systems, including electric instantaneous, gas storage, and solar with gas boost. For your assignment, determine which system is the cheapest to run, what type of system would you choose for task 1 house, and include the reasons for your choice and an image of the system at the end of your report. So finally, for assignment 1, we've covered all that's required in there, but we'll have a quick look at where we find or where we can access all the Australian standards. This can be done through the TAFE website, under services, libraries, and under online databases. Within online databases, or when we get to this point, you'll be prompted to log in. For the purposes of this, I won't log in, but each of you should have been given information on how you individually log in. And once we've logged in, we've got the choice of Australian standards, and it gives us under that heading our login information for the SAI global website. So we can take the username and then also the password once we've logged in to the library, and we can access all the Australian standards through the SAI global website. We also have access, or a hyperlink here, to the Building Code of Australia, so that's the National Construction Code. If we click on that, we're prompted to create our own login. Once you've done that, remember of course your email address and your password, and you will then have ongoing access to the BCA. I hope that is sufficient explanation on how to conduct assignment 1. If you have any further queries, please contact me at michaeljenkins@takesa.edu.au.